views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
That moment when you realize you have mastered your wellness. When you've become so resilient, you can conquer any hiccup life throws you. Yeah, well, me either. But I still ride unicorns. I'll teach you how to become a mindset master. You will learn how your habits and behavior affect your success in nutrition, exercise, relationships, organization, and so much more. It's your reality, and you need to do it your way. Self-care and self-love are anything but selfish. Take charge, get excited. If not now, then when? Grab your espresso and get ready to talk all things wellness. It's time for Coach, Couch, and Coffee Radio with Coach Peggy Willms right now. Welcome, everybody. I am Coach Peggy, and you are listening to Coach, Couch, and Coffee on Transformation Talk Radio. And you can join me every single Monday at 3 Pacific and 6 Eastern. Do you guys all have your coffee mugs today? Darcy, did you think to bring yours?
I sure do.
Oh, good. Oh, look at you. You're riding a bicycle. I've got my big one. I've got my big one today. Yeah. There's no vodka. There's just water, coffee. All right, you guys, you can always find me at 3wellnesspillars.com. You can hang out there, check out my programs. I've got a store. You can do some shopping, blog, super fun, cool stuff. I want to tell you, we're going to get started, and it is a whole new world for me today. I'm going to be transparent, whole new world. But health and wellness is all about expanding your knowledge, and we have a responsibility, I truly believe, that we have to get uncomfortable, learn more things, and spread what we already know. So our topic today is it's springtime, and what's up with those damn geckos? That's right. So I have been being stalked by geckos, brown and green geckos, for weeks. And Darcy, my beautiful guest here today, she's incomparable, compassionate. She is an animal communicator, you guys. She's an intuitive medium. She's a Reiki master. And today is part one of our two-part series. So she'll be back 1 month from now on April 22nd. We have lots more to come about that, on that. So she is going to share with me how she helped me understand these animals that were stalking me. And so, Darcy, I would love for you to introduce yourself, if you could, to the listeners.
Okay, great. Thanks, Peggy. And I'm so happy to be here today. You know, I'm really, really enjoying listening to your show. So about myself is I started as an animal communicator and a medium when I took some Reiki training. I didn't intend to do any of these things. They just kind of showed up. So I became a master. And Reiki, if you're not real familiar with it, it's a healing energy and it comes through you. So you take the training and you get an attunement by a Reiki master. And it flows through your hands. It has its own intelligence. So it goes where it needs to. So you might have something physical, sore back or sore head or neck, or something emotional. So that's a beauty of it. So I was practicing Reiki in my home on friends and hearing messages, hearing these things. And I didn't understand what they meant or what I should do with them. So I said, what do I do with this? I tell the person on the table, because it's not your message. And pretty soon my friends were saying, oh, that's my grandmother. Or my mother used to say that. Or it was a favorite song of a friend. And so loved ones from the other side were coming in. I guess the door was open to the energy. And then one day, this little white dog came bouncing across the room, and I could see her. And she was so excited, this little fluffy ball. She said, you can see me, you can see me. And so she hung around with me that day and the next day. And so what happened was she knew that I was going to a mediumship presentation at a friend's, and that her people were going to be there. And she wanted to connect with them. So that next day, I show up at the meeting, and about midway, she comes in, and she starts telling me about her life. This little dog had a really nice life. She went boating, and she had a favorite life jacket. She traveled all around. So she was very grateful and talking to, who this message was for. And then in the end, she said, my name is Princess. And on the side of me, I can see these two women sitting next to each other. And one is, elbowing her friend and elbowing and elbowing. And what? That's not my dog. She said, of course it is. All these things. And she said, yeah, but her name's not Princess. And the woman just laughed all the harder because she said, are you kidding? We all called her Princess, every one of us. And the little dog pipes up and says, well, it says Princess on my bowl. There it was. From that moment on, animals that have crossed over started coming to me and having messages for their people. And so that's a part of my work. And probably more of it, though, is talking to your animals, connecting with them if they're having a behavioral problem, or you want to know what they're thinking or what they need, or just discuss, something that's going on in the family. So that's how it all started.
Oh my gosh. So how do you tie in? So you're a medium as well, you're Reiki master. So the mediumship is just because you've got human beings too, but the animals is the main thing, how you started. Or I shouldn't say humans, but spirits.
How I tie mediumship in? It's just like I open the door, I open that channel, and I call myself kind of a multi-purpose person. What will happen is someone will call me for an intuitive guidance, intuitive reading, or call me for animal communication. And if there's an animal on the other side and it has the opportunity to come in and say, hey, I'm here and I'm happy, they do. So they'll often just pop in. We don't expect it. The other day I was talking to a woman who had some questions about her life going forward. And right before she called, I saw a grandma, and I knew that she was going to come into the session. So before the call was over, I said, I've got a woman here, and I know it's your grandmother. She's showing me she's on the father's side. And I started giving some information. And all of a sudden it went click that the dog she was asking about was another dog in spirit. And the grandmother wanted her to know, though they never met, that she absolutely loved animals, and that she was there when her dog passed to help carry him over, to help bring him home. And so it was really beautiful. And she said, I love the reading, but to know that my dog is with my grandma is everything.
So you guys, my listeners who've known me for a really long time, I don't have an animal. It's not that I haven't resonated with animals, but it's just, I guess maybe I work too much. So when these geckos started showing up, and I'm telling you, showing up, I call them stalking me because I couldn't get away. I've got a big office window here and there's palm trees. I live in Florida. And yes, we have geckos. I get it. But they were out of the ordinary. This one kept coming and hanging upside down and looking at me, and I didn't even know what was going on. Then one ended up in my bedroom in the evening. I don't know how. And I called my guy in and I said, we've got a problem. We've got a gecko in the house. Then I would be outside working and there were geckos. So long story short, I called Linda at Transformation Radio. I said, do we have somebody who communicates with animals? Because I have to figure this out. Because I had also had a green one on my mop jump onto my hair. I'm not kidding you guys. So Linda says, well, there's Darcy Pariso. You could reach out to her. She speaks to, communicates with animals, and maybe she can figure out what in the heck's going on. So I did that. I think Darcy's trying to get to know me. She probably thinks I'm a little strange, but hey, I reached out to her and she has some things that this gecko was giving me for some messages. And you guys, I gotta have you hear this. So Darcy, take me away. Share with them the gecko stories.
Okay, the gecko. I was surprised. Hi, I'm Peggy. What do you know about geckos? I said, well, not a whole lot, actually, but we'll see what he has to say. So what he said to you was that, when your show is starting, he wanted to tell you to stay grounded, to keep doing what you're doing. Don't get too big, and that you're resilient and that you're absolutely doing the right thing. And then he paused for a minute, and then he said that he wanted to make some changes in your relationship, the relationship between the two of you. He said that you can thank the geckos for their help and set boundaries with them. Tell them what you want them to do, how they can help you, and make it clear. He said, what do you want, for example? Can we come in the house and should we stay on the window seat? What do you want us to do? Because we don't know, and we want to help, and we want to honor you. And so he said that they're holding the energy and the healing for you. And then he also ended with that things will change, and they'll change to what you need. So guides for you. They'll give you whatever you need, regardless of the area, the topic. And these geckos felt pretty specific because I recall that you said there was a brown one and one, and the brown felt very much about grounding, where the green ones felt like they were about inspiration and seeing a new earth and a new birth and seeing through a new lens. And they actually had the feeling like they were co-parenting or co-creating. So
I could use a co-creator and a co-parent. Go ahead.
So it was fun. So I looked up, so Ted Andrews, you might recognize the name. He has this book on animal speak. And I hadn't looked at spirit animals for a long time. I just tuned into whoever, So I looked up geckos. And it said the thing about the gecko as a lizard, it's really rare because it has a voice. It's the only lizard that has a voice. And so anybody that has a gecko as a spirit animal should meditate on it and get information. And geckos are experts at just perceiving just the minute details, the subtle perceptions, because they can sense the vibrations of the earth, through their feet. They're very clairvoyant in that third eye. And anyone that has a gecko as a totem animal or a spirit animal, and I often say our guides, really to listen to their intuition and your own intuition above anyone else's. Really stress that. And there's someone that has really a heightened sensitivity, and they often see and feel things that other people don't. So, one more thing
so interesting
that I didn't know or didn't remember, their tail comes off. So it helps people that have them as a totem or a spirit animal that you can more easily detach from life, or maybe detach from anything that's not drama or whatever you don't want to be involved in.
Interesting. Darcy, I'm going to have you maybe just push in your mic or maybe it's because you're moving, because it's just kind of breaking up just a little, not major, but just a little, probably.
Oh, okay.
It's so interesting that you say that, because the three things that you kind of bring up, the fact of, I think you said meditating, intuition, and detaching. Anyone who knows me, meditating has been something I've just tried to do in the last year. And when I'm on it and I'm focusing and I'm grounding, I really am much more clear. I'm less sick. I'm better at what I do. And I've got to get back to that. So maybe that really is one of the messages. The intuition part's interesting because my business has so changed in the last 4 to 5 months. I mean, I would have never thought that I would be doing what I'm doing on radio, coaching. It never would have made sense if I bet on it a year ago. So I really did, listen to my intuition on taking this direction. So thank you. And then the third thing on detaching, I think that's really what I have to work on, especially with having fun. I live right where I want to live, and I have such a hard time detaching from my work. And when you and I talked, the brown ones, which are everywhere, I always see them when I'm working. Always when my laptop and I'm working. So there you go. You guys that are listening, I want to do something for you. Darcy has offered, for anybody who would love to call in right now, 1-800-930-2819. I'm going to give that to you again, 1-800-930-2819. We're not going to take a break because we're having too much fun. But if you would call in, they're going to take your name and contact information, and she is going to give away a free 30-minute animal communication reading for you. And if you'd like to go ahead and do that, have at it. That would be wonderful. What I'd like to do is, Darcy, I want you to, and again, you guys, I'm reaching outside of my comfort zone. This is brand new for me. So maybe if you could take us through, what are some of the common messages? Most people have cats or dogs or relate to horses. So I'm just wondering if maybe we could flow through some of the stories that you've worked with in the past, with maybe a cat story and how they give you messages and what your suggestions are for owners. Take it away. I'm going to listen. It's going to be so good.
Okay. Well, some of the really common things that come up for everyone, we call the human to animal transference. it's because, animals don't speak our language, so they have to do what they can to convey a message to us. And that might not always be in the way that, we would hope, but there it is. So they'll take on our lessons. They'll call attention to things, maybe things that we could be doing differently, trying to help us to make a change. And because after all, we're here to learn and evolve. So, and this can be anything. They can be physical issues or emotional. So something that's fairly common is getting calls about cats, and cats being in the house, or they might be having litter box problems. And normally we rule out, things like, urinary tract infections or any kind of medical or those types of things. But usually by the time they call, they know that they're not sick. But so one thing that, common story, not so uncommon, is cats peeing on a bed and on maybe one particular person's side, the person they're angry with. So a woman called me and she said, cat's peeing on the bed. We switched the mattress. We move his things around. He's peeing on my husband's shoes, on work things. It doesn't matter. I mean, he's clearly upset with him. And so when I asked the cat what's going on, the cat said, wife needs help. She has a difficult pregnancy. She's a young mom. She has a really busy toddler at home, and she's asking her husband to come home earlier every day just to help out. And, wasn't feeling acknowledged and frustrated. And so when the cat was watching this go on for a while and just kind of threw up his hands and said, oh, brother, I'm taking a stand. And so that's what he did. So he called attention to it in a big way. And the woman said, I recorded this. I'm going to send it to my husband and we'll see what happens. I hung up feeling like there was going to be a really positive resolution. So that was, but cats will do those things. It's not always the positive thing that you'd like to see, but how else are they going to get our attention? I can share a quick dog story if you'd like.
That makes such sense that there really are messages that they're leaving us. We want to punish them. We think they're bad, or they haven't been trained properly, or we missed perhaps training them properly. I mean, my son has a dog that he adores, and she didn't come to him as a puppy. And I was just thinking about you, just going, gosh, as owners, there might be some messages there. So yeah, Sherry, I know you have a dog story. I want to hear your dog story.
Yeah, they'll bring up emotional issues, anger, relationships, not standing up for ourselves, not taking care of ourselves, anything that you'd see a counselor for or talk to a good friend about. Well, this dog was mirroring his person. So they all often do that. If you're sick, you might find out that your dog is sick because he's trying to take that away from you and help you physically. And they'll mirror us to show us, how we could change. So this dog was destroying everything in the house. The man would come home from work and he'd replace things, he'd chew them up, barking, just, all kinds of behavioral problems. And he was just pulling out his hair. So when I asked the dog, what's going on? What do you need? How can we help you? And the dog said, I'm home by myself all day long. And I'm lonely. I'm afraid I'm alone. And so digging deeper, I asked the man, are you afraid to be alone? Do you feel, some of these same things? And the man said, oh, absolutely. That's why I got him. And what was happening was he wanted to have his dog there for that, hour or two that he was home after work and between, his next evening appointments. So he was spending a little bit of time with him, but otherwise he was always there. He got the dog because he didn't want to be alone. And when the dog, empathized and mirrored everything that he was doing, he felt a lot of compassion for him and started taking him everywhere. So now they're both happy. But he's also going to look into, talking to a counselor about, that fear of being alone. So the dog did a good job.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. So what people can do is reach out to you, and maybe mostly it would seem like come at you, or it would be helpful to come at you with either some symptoms or behaviors. And then you're able to, even without knowing them, able to, just like you did with me, try to figure out, there's a message. Yeah. Do they get back in touch with you and tell you the amazing things that they've done and their dog and cat are behaving appropriately now?
Sometimes they do and sometimes not. Or sometimes I will call and someone will tell me, oh, you helped my friend so-and-so, and now her dog is doing all these great things. So it sometimes comes, through another person.
you do hear it through another person. It's always nice. I know sometimes in our work, we don't always get to hear back how amazing our work is, or what we've done. So that's really nice. I was thinking that if you could share with us, if there's any, because I know you have horse story that I just love too, but what are some messages? I think we'll get to that in case we run out of time, but what are some messages that, or some ways we can communicate and see maybe if we can do it, if there's conversation or something we can have to say, what are you trying to tell me? Because I know you told me set boundaries. Like, you don't need to be in my house, Gecko. It's okay. You can stay outside. What are you trying to tell me? I'll get up, I'll go for a walk. But do you have any idea, share with us some ideas?
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to. I teach animal communication classes all the time because I'd love to get the message out to everyone. So animals read our energy first and foremost. They look at us and they say, oh, well, they're excited today. I wonder what that means for me. So let's look at those pictures in her mind and see, are we going to the park or on an outing, or is she going somewhere and I'm behind, left behind? So they're always reading us and scanning us. And the more that we can talk to them and get them used to us talking to them, the more trust and confidence they'll have, and the more they'll know what's going on, and you won't have these kinds of problems I'm talking about. So I always tell people, talk to your animals out loud and get them used to listening to you, get them used to you talking and looking to you for directions. And always match the images in your mind with your emotions and your words, because people will say, no barking, and the image in their mind is a dog barking. So make sure that everything's the same.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So talk to them out loud and, start saying, hey, I'm going to be home a little later today. And when I come home, we're going to play. And then you're showing those images. Or someone's coming over to dinner, so they know to expect that. And it really, really helps. And another thing that you can start doing is, say you're just out on errands or you're at work, you can send them a message, kind of a little, I don't know, maybe a mental text. And you can say, hey, Buster, I'm thinking of you. I'm at work, and I'll see you for dinner, and we're going to do something special tonight. You keep doing that, and then in time, you can ask them to do something specific to let them know they got the message. So my dog, I was teaching this in a class, and one woman said, oh, it'll never happen. My dogs, they always sleep. It'll never happen. And the next week she came back and she said they did everything that she asked. They woke up, which was the thing, and they did everything. So I thought, I'm going to do the same thing. So on my way home, I asked my little dog to come to the door and greet me with her green dinosaur in her mouth. She always came with the yellow lion. It was her favorite toy. And I said, I want to make sure you got this message. I have to be clear. So bring the green dinosaur. I open the door. She comes to the door with the yellow lion. She's running to the door with the yellow lion in her mouth. And I said, oh, she forgot. And she turned around and she ran back and got the green dinosaur.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And they're silly things, but they're fun.
They are fun. You guys, when you look at this, if you're not watching it live or you look it back, I know my mouth has been completely hanging open with just awe of what you do. This half hour this podcast radio show has blown by, you guys. We're actually going to have to let you go for part one. It's that fast. Again, Darcy, I just want to say so much. Thank you for joining me and sharing my stories and helping me get out of my comfort zone. And we are going to be back for part 2 on April 22nd. So excited. And I would like to have you tell everybody real quick about our show on Thursday. I'm going to be on Darcy's show this Thursday for an hour. So take it and share with them what I'm going to do with you.
Okay, so the name of the show is Animal Soul Wisdom. It's on the station, Transformation Talk Radio, 2 Pacific and 5 p.m. Eastern. The title is A New Beginning, Human and Animal Life Coaches. And it's going to be really interesting because we get to learn about Peggy. I get to interview her, find out about her path, and get a clear idea, and you get a clear idea of what you can expect working with her. Talking with Peggy, what I learned is that in this show, she's going to really break things down and make it real for us. She understands that life happens, and that I really see this as something that is very sustainable. I see people getting feeling supported, and I know this is a life path that works.
Thank you. I can't wait. I can't wait. Okay, you guys, you can email me at Coach Peggy at 3wellnesspillars.com or hop on my website. Darcy, can you give us real quick your website?
DarcyPariso.com. It's Darcy with a Y, and Pariso spelled like Paris, Pariso.
Gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, you guys, I am seriously thrilled to be here with Darcy, and I want to let you know about next Monday. Next Monday, April 1st, here on Coach Couch and Coffee Radio at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern, I am going to have Kate Adams, who spent the last 8 years as the assistant casting director for As the World Turns, and her TED Talk, 4 Larger-Than-Life Lessons from Soap Operas, has 1.5 million views, and she is going to be on. We are going to talk about soap operas plus animated movies equals real life lessons. So make sure you join us. Don't miss it. And Darcy, again, thank you. Everyone have a great week. Bye, you guys. Thank you for listening to Coach Couch and Coffee Radio with me, Coach Peggy Willms. Did you hear something that made you go, or have an aha moment? I live for those. If not, we will get you next time. I will be back every first and third Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific to tough love you to become smarter, stronger, braver, healthier, and happier. Duh. I will be back with a barrel of positivity, and you never know when a guest might pop in. There is no time for excuses. So don't forget to bring your coffee and an open mind as we talk all things wellness on Coach Couch and Coffee Radio with me, Coach Peggy Willms. Now go grab a ray of sunshine.